So if this is your first time here at the Republican Roundtable, the mission of this organization in particular is to provide a platform for the sorts of conversations I think we desperately need right now, and where platforms are becoming too few. First off, I want to thank everyone that came out to the Rally for Freedom that we had at AGOP headquarters on Sunday. We had about over 150 people there. We had a great time. Yeah. We had some great speakers. I really want to thank Commissioner Tommy Ham that came out and did a great job really diving into this issue. For any of you not here, this is a news item, but the county is looking at funding free T-cell checks that will help dealing with natural immunity issues, which will be very important, which are going to come up in just another minute here. It was such a good turnout. I believe the Trump Club, the Trump store guy, sold almost $1,000 worth of merchandise. That's a whole lot of "Let's Go Brandon" yard signs. So that shows where the enthusiasm is at. But of course, the reason for this, is very relevant this week, because on Monday, the governor announced the special session that's coming up next week. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I thought that this battle against COVID vaccine mandates was a losing one. I really did. There was a lot of bad stuff coming out of leadership, Republican leadership, a lot of stuff coming out from the Chamber of Commerce. But what we got was actually a pretty good deal. So for those who have not seen the announcement, there's 4 different bills kind of being voted on in special session. The most important one, though, is this COVID vaccine mandate issue. And there's kind of what it mandates is that while it doesn't explicitly get rid of corporate vaccine mandates, as I would like, it's not a kind of a broad thing, the same way it is for public sector employees, what it does require is that every employer must provide these 5 exceptions to vaccine mandates. And this includes medical reasons, respect for medical reasons, religious exemptions, which is a big deal going on, particularly with a lot of the federal employee lawsuits going on. Most importantly, recognizing of natural immunity, which goes to that T-cell count. This is the first state, I think, using this as a direct substitute. Scandinavian countries have already done this. So this is very, very important. And then it also allows for everyone else the ability to, in exchange of a vaccine, undergoing mandatory testing and wearing PPE like masks and things like that. Now, there is a little bit of concern out there that this could be used kind of in a vindictive manner, and I think that's fair. But I think I can tell you from talking to people, I mean, the amount of people that we've had coming through GOP headquarters, coming to our events, crying, not knowing what to do because their livelihoods are on the line. I know that they'd be willing to take a mask if it means not getting fired. And so again, the fact that an employer cannot simply choose one of the 5, they must do all 5. This is effectively blocking corporate mandates here in the state of Florida. Now, there's still some work on the edges. I would like to see, right now it's a $50,000 fine if you're an employer that doesn't uphold this. I'd like to see that bumped up a little bit more. I think that there's some companies that might eat that. We need to, I would like to see a little bit more teeth to that. But what we have right now is we're now working from a position of strength. If we don't gain 1 more inch, we have done what the governor promised. And again, just to kind of highlight the uphill battle, this is Paul Renner. Now, he is the next Speaker of the House. Okay, this is a big deal. And they had a meeting, they had a big Chamber of Commerce event in Tallahassee a couple weeks ago. And then there, Paul Renner said, he predicted nobody's going to be happy at the end. The people on the side of vaccine or terminate are unhappy. But the people that are on the side of, I can tell my employer what the terms of my employment are, and if I get sick, they have to pay for it, they're probably not going to be happy either. He's being very dismissive, very condescending to the concerns here. This is not the voice I want to hear, to be quite honest, of the next Speaker of the House in the Florida Republican Party. But this is where we're at, and this is where they were 2 weeks ago. I talked to Anthony Sabatini a couple days after that. He was very, very concerned. What we got, these 5 exemptions, we don't get that without 3 people. For one, Governor DeSantis taking this issue on and really standing tough on it. He was actually getting really creative. He was talking about how, increasing financial penalties on the liability side for these businesses that were mandated. I mean, I'm pretty strong on that. That's kind of even a step further than me. So that's how strong he was going into this. The other one is Anthony Sabatini, who not only has been setting the firm edge in Tallahassee on this issue, but he was also willing to rally the mob to make sure that the voters in Tallahassee remembered who they represented. The third is Tucker Carlson. The moment that Ron DeSantis went to Tucker Carlson and told him and his audience that we're not going to let this fly, both for not just the Biden mandates, but the Corbett mandates. If anyone can hold Republicans accountable in America right now, it's Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
And so it's the threat of Tucker Carlson, it's the threat of Anthony Sabatini, and it's the courage of Ron DeSantis that pushed the Republican majority much, much further than they wanted. And I can tell you this right now. On Tuesday night, last Tuesday, I was debating on Twitter with Alex Andrande, who's a really, really good state rep over in Pensacola. Right? The problem is that he doesn't understand the significance of this issue. And he said, no line, put the line in the sand, we're not going to tell businesses what they can do. Well, guess what? DeSantis is now. He lost. And this is a big, big win. Now, other parts of this bill, just kind of gloss through it, is that it helps with security issues in terms of medical health data on some of that. One thing is it gets rid of, there was an outdated piece of language in state statutes that would theoretically allow the Florida Surgeon General to mandate vaccines. This would get rid of it. That's actually Alex Andrande's sponsoring there. And then this is going to be a fun battle going forward, is Florida taking the steps to withdraw entirely from OSHA, which is very, very good. Florida versus the federal government is going to be a recurring theme for the next several years, and that is something that we should all be very, very excited about. Moving on to some other issues. Going here locally, with all this talk about vaccine mandates and things like that, I did reach out to Steve Moss of the Bay District School Board and asking if there was any plans for doing vaccine drives with children. I didn't think this would have to be an issue, but once you have Big Bird out there telling the little ones that, hey, don't worry, go get the vaccine, when Big Bird ends up with myocarditis, in a couple of years, this is an issue, right? According to Steve Moss, there's no plans on doing vaccine drives within our school system. There's no assembly. There's nothing like that. They're going to do nothing to push parents on that. So I just wanted to give you an update on that side of things. Another interesting thing, you probably won't be able to see it, but there's a redistricting of the county commission lines here in Bay County. People don't realize just how ridiculously large District 4 is. This is Doug Moore's district. It's basically West Bay all the way over to the other side of the county. It is now, this is District 4 now. It's going to take the west end of the beach area. It's going to move District 2 up a great deal. So this is kind of the new map. Again, you won't be able to see it here clearly, but just know that this is going on. And last thing is that the Democratic Governors Association made a very, very big announcement. They are, at this point, not looking to spend money in this race. And so guess what? It turns out the Democrats really can read polls. They can't do that to figure out not siding with teachers' unions is a good idea over parents, but they can read polls, and they recognize where DeSantis is right now. And so, there's now a three-way race as well, if you're not familiar. There's a state senator from South Miami that has jumped in on the Democratic side. No one knows what's going on. Nikki Fried's not going anywhere. Chingay Charlie is still trying to figure out, what he's going to identify as. So this is all going very, very good, and this is exactly what you would want to see with DeSantis being as strong as he is. But of course, this does not mean that Democrats are staying out of the state of Florida. Because what you are going to see is perhaps one of the largest campaigns of the 2022 cycle is going to be the showdown with Val Demings and our Senator Marco Rubio. And again, when we talk about trying to take back the Senate, take back the House, and fortify our positions in D.C. to try to stifle the Biden regime as much as we can, making sure that Florida stays red in the Senate side of things is as important as any other races out there. And on that topic, we are very lucky tonight to be joined by Ed Molloy. He is the new field director for this area for Team Marco. He is going to introduce himself to y'all and tell you about some of the things that the Rubio campaign has going on here in Bay County and the Panhandle. So Ed, thank you for joining us.
All right, guys, how we doing? Thank you all for having me. I do appreciate this. I'm really excited to just kind of talk to you briefly about a little bit about myself, and then more so about what we plan on doing in the Panhandle for Marco's re-election campaign. So a little bit about me. My name is Ed Molloy. I am I'm the regional director for his campaign in the Panhandle. I have been working in politics for about 4 years now, and basically what I do is I work on political campaigns. That's just my entire job. I love it. I enjoy the heck out of it. I love meeting new people and getting to build these relationships with different people throughout, whether it be in different states or specifically, I'm excited to be working in Florida this year with you all. So a lot of people ask is how I really got involved with this, and the first is I come from a family where my father, he's a chief of police in a suburban town outside Philadelphia. I've grown up a Christian, and I've always kind of been drawn towards politics because of my upbringing and really a lot of what I've seen with how law enforcement is treated in this country. And I do look for Republicans to work for that will look after our law enforcement, for our local police. And I think at a time like this when a lot of our great institutions are being torn down by some of these radicals on the left side, I think it's important that we work the most we can to ensure that we win these elections. So real quickly, what we're doing in the Panhandle is really trying to build what is called a field program. For those of you who have never been involved in campaigns or those of you who have some experience, a field program is really just how we contact voters to get them to come out and vote come election day. So what we're doing right now is we're really just kind of reaching out to all the different counties in the Panhandle, offering an opportunity for people to get involved in the campaign and to really affect the turnout of the election. A lot of times people, with the way we see social media and the way media is, we reach so many voters, but the real question is, how do we actually sway elections, right? How do we go out and win? Because you have people who are MSNBC loyalists, you have Fox News loyalists, and then you have this large pool of people that really kind of either are swing voters or they don't vote at all. What we're focusing right now are on people who vote in presidential elections but do not vote in midterms. Now, the advantage of our system is that when we bring in new volunteers to come door knock for Marco, they're also going to be door knocking for not just Senator Rubio, but also for Governor DeSantis. They're also going to be door knocking for their local candidates. If you have friends, I'm sure you do, who are county commissioners or running for county commissioner seats, who are state representatives, who are running for state representative seats, working alongside one of these larger campaigns will be beneficial not just for us, but also for you. This allows us to reach out to voters who we don't know for sure that they're going to come out and vote. So if we can actually contact these voters on a person-to-person basis, we can break what's the margin of victory. So typically a strong field program can sway an election by 3 points in any given area. So while the Panhandle is very red compared to a lot of the state, it's very conservative, and we're blessed that it's like that. It also would be advantageous for us to work on a field program, to go door to door, to canvass for not just our Senate and governor races, but everyone down ballot, so that in those areas that are a little bit more swingy, we can actually ensure that we have victories there as well. Also, in a lot of parts of the state, you have certain areas outside of Orlando, right? Sometimes those can go either way. Places near Miami, those can go either way. Now, we're seeing a statewide trend towards Republicans, but it is absolutely crucial that we, in the Panhandle, are able to increase turnout as much as possible so that we ensure that we can carry our candidates on all levels, on all ballots, all the way down the ballot to ensure that we have the largest wins possible and we can go into 2024 looking really, really strong. Also, what I want to get from this program, and what I hope that a lot of Republicans get from this program as well, is lasting infrastructure for campaigns. After this election, I don't know if I'm going to be around. I really hope I am. I love Florida since I've gotten here. It is a beautiful place. The freedom is amazing. The people are amazing, and it's been a great experience. But when this election comes to the end, there's going to be elections almost every year following, right? So we have to make sure that we have people in our community, in our neighborhoods, who know how to knock doors, who know how to register voters, who know how to get out the vote, to ensure that on elections when it's not as exciting, when you don't have a Ron DeSantis or a Marco Rubio on the ballot, when you don't have a Donald Trump on the ballot, that we ensure the Republicans are still coming out to vote to ensure that we continue to win these elections. Other than that, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So the last thing I want to touch on is over the next election cycle, we are going to be looking to get Marco Rubio out into the Panhandle. I will be working with, though, I'll also be working with the Bay County GOP to find ways where we can actually potentially put together some upcoming events where when Marco is traveling through the Panhandle, you guys will all be invited to come and see him. With that said, just so you guys have an idea as to what our schedule looks like over the next week, myself and another member of the Rubio campaign will be stopping by the Bay County GOP headquarters. They were gracious enough to allow us to host a door knocking training there, both Tuesday, the 16th at 12 p.m. and Wednesday, the 17th at 6 p.m. If you would like to come out to actually learn how we do our door knocking, to how it is going to benefit our statewide races and also the local ones, I really, really urge you to come to these events. It will help us, not just now, but also in elections to come. This is something that the Democrats have been doing for years. Back in 2008, during the Obama campaign, they had made the conscious effort to create a grassroots infrastructure that lasted from election to election. It wasn't until 2016, during the Donald Trump election, where the Republicans the Republicans began to build some grassroots infrastructure, but the work is far from done. Especially, in Florida, where Republicans have now officially taken over the voter registration margin. Congratulations. That's just the beginning. We want to continue to build that into the future. And honestly, we like to say, so there's something that's said a lot in campaigns, and I hope this sticks with a lot of people who wish to continue to get Republicans elected, and that is win the day. So if we go through every single day, right, you find a new way, you can register a new voter, you can find a friend who might want to be involved with grassroots campaigning, find someone new, win that day, because every single vote is going to matter as we get further, as we come around to this election, as we get further into the future. Ron DeSantis and Marco Rubio won't be around forever, but let's ensure that they win in 2022. But let's also make sure that we build the grassroots infrastructure that will remain in Florida for years and decades to come. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. I will be sticking around, so if you want to come talk to me afterwards, I will be here.
Thank you very much, Ed.